It's a major dysfunctioning of the global economic system. Tax evasion make the rich do not fulfill the duty of the solidarity with the poor, and that means a lack of resources for public budgets. In fact, the middle and poor classes alone bear the burden of taxation. When we say tax havens, it means tax havens for large fortunes, and it means hell for most of people, and hell is poverty, illiteracy, unemployment, malnutrition, migration, war, conflicts, and the effect of climate change. Climate change is another source of inequalities because Africa is the continent which most suffers from the impact of climate change, yet Africa has no historical responsibility in global warming. Africa is only responsible for 4% of global emission of greenhouse gas, and only 1% for Morocco, while industrialized countries are responsible for 78% of this gas. Africa has already begun to suffer from the damage of climate change. More than 500 million square meters of land are already degraded. Desertification increases, agriculture and food security are threatened. According to the United Nations, there will be some 250 million climatic migrants in the world by 2050. Migration is an opportunity and an asset for Morocco, but also a challenge. Morocco, which have long been a transit country for sub-Saharan migrants, has become a host country, and really Morocco can be proud of its migration policy and the regularization of two successive waves of migrants. In 2013, 25,000 people have been regularized, and in 2017, a second wave as part of a general policy for the integration of migrants into the Moroccan socio-economical fabric through access to education, to vocational training, employment, housing, and healthcare. Music, cinema, drama also contribute to integration thanks to multiple festivals and music and dance events. It's the part of cultural diplomacy. On the other hand, Morocco society is developing its cosmopolitan character and putting democracy to the test of diversity, which is a real asset for freedom, but also a challenge for Morocco, which must adapt its legislation and public policies accordingly. In this perspective, the world must fulfill its commitment with respect to climate justice. At COP21, COP is the conference of the parties of the agreement about climate change. So it was in Paris in 2015, and there was a strong commitment from the 195 members countries and the European Union that have signed a global historic and binding agreement to maintain the rise in global average temperature significantly below 2 degrees, above pre-industrial levels, as a striving effort to limit this increase at 1.5 degrees. The countries of the North have pledged to raise up to $100 billion a year by 2020 their contribution to climate finance to the countries of the South to help them adapt to the impact of disturbance. Unfortunately, you know all that President Trump announced the US withdrawal from this agreement, and overall, the commitment were not kept, which led to the organization just a few days ago, of the One Planet Summit organized in Paris by UN the World Bank and France to provide additional funding in the fight against global warming. There was also COP22 in Marrakesh in 2016. Morocco is a leader and a forerunner thanks to commitment, leadership, and the highest level of the highest level of the state by His Majesty King Mohammed VI, and he gives a formidable dynamic involving state actors, civil society, and the medias, but also the private sector and the academic community. Morocco's green turning point has resulted with a very ambitious energy plan, since the kingdom is on track to increase the contribution of renewable energy to electricity production by 42% by 2020 and 52% by 2030. This early commitment has enabled Morocco to be the organizer of COP22 in 2016. In this occasion, Morocco launched the AAA, that means Adaptation of African Agriculture, to make Africa's voice heard in terms of concrete solution and funding. So it is the second aspect of these inequalities. And the third aspect is the gender inequalities. So due to gender inequalities, the impact of climate change is not the same for men and women. Women are the first victims of climate change. They represent 70% of the world's poor, and they are 14 times more likely to suffer from climate-related disasters than men. In developing countries, women are responsible for 60 to 80% of food production, but they only have 10 to 20% of land titles. Their capacities for adaptation and resilience are strongly constrained by gender social norms. For example, the scarcity of natural resources increases women's working time for collecting wood, collecting water, etc. There is a clear link between gender equality and sustainable development, and so promoting gender equality and fighting gender discrimination is at the heart of the 17 SDGs of the United Nations, clearly recognized links between the achievement of the that was MDGs until 2015 and now SDGs, and the implementation of the Beijing Plan of Action and the implementation of CEDAW. So the 17 SDGs are the minimum wage for humanity, because no poverty, zero hunger, good health, education for everybody, equality of the sexes, also reduce inequalities, and measure relating to the fight against climate change, and also, and that is very important, the partnership for the achievement of objectives. Africa is a rich continent with low human development. There is only human development indicators are among the lowest in the world, according to the UNDP annual report of 2016 on human development. Only 3 African countries are classified in the group of developed countries. 14 in moderately developed countries. More African countries rank among the lowest human development countries on the human development scale. Human resources are at the heart of development issues. Sub-Saharan Africa's population is 1 billion today, 13% of the world's population. This population will rise to more than 2 billion in 2050, more than 36% of the world population, according to the United Nations. 70% of this population are girls and boys under 30. African youth was called the wealth of Africa in His Majesty the King's message at the opening of the 10th edition of the World Policy Conference held in November 2017 in Marrakesh. The demand for work with an estimated need of nearly 420 million jobs over the next 20 years, the supply may not exceed 100 million jobs. According to a survey by the World Bank, about 40% of those joining rebel and terrorist movement are motivated by lack of job. So the link is very clear between peace, security, peace, democracy, and the problem of fighting against inequalities. The needs of population can be summed up in one word: security, human security. That means human rights for the entire population. I don't like to say les droits de l'homme, human right in French, because it is like if it was only for men. So human rights, it's for women, for men, for young people, children, migrant people, people with disabilities, people with AIDS, etc. Human security in its entirety includes, of course, the right of peace, the right to peace, to life, and the integrity, but also human rights in general, civil and political, economic, social, cultural rights, and also environmental. The multiple needs and multiple social ills, admittedly, social ills seems at first sight to strike men and women indifferently, but statistics reveals many gender disparities, and African women suffer much more severe deficit in law and thus multiple suffering. Different forms of violence against women, early marriage, mutilation, genital mutilation of women, unwanted pregnancies, sexual and reproductive rights deficit, etc. Effects of war and armed conflicts. The rape of women is unfortunately used as a weapon of war, targets of terrorism, etc. It is impossible to be exhaustive. Discrimination against women is very costly. I want to be very brief, but there is OECD, l'OCDE, reports of October 2017 that said that discrimination against women at work would cost the MENA region 575 billion a year for all the countries of the region MENA. I am sure that it will be the same thing for Africa. Women's poor economic participation hinders prosperity of all. Many international reports say that of World Bank, UNDP, IMF. According to le FMI, International Mondial Funds, economic shortfall can reach up to 27% of GDP for all our countries. So inclusive development requires resources that are sorely lacking. A new, more just world order is essential. Reconsidering the debt issue that plagues the economy and of developing countries. There is a recent global report on inequalities that say there will be no progress without tackling tax evasion and seriously combating tax havens. This report proposed the establishment of a world register of financial securities to identify the holders. North as well as South country must mobilize for the achievement of the 17 United Nations SDGs. Human resources are at the heart of sustainable development. Sustainable development is based on the rehabilitation of our human resources and building their capacities, access of young girls and boys to quality education, training and awareness of a set of values of human rights, freedom, equality, and respect of the environment, gender equality, and equal opportunities are excellent levers for economic growth and social progress. Africa needs all its children to achieve the goals of sustainable development. New technologies are inexhaustible source of opportunities. McKinsey considers that the internet could contribute $300 billion to the annual GDP of the African continent by 2025. There is no much room for women in parliament in Africa. The share of power is very unfair for women. The first country in the world in terms of women's representation in parliament is African. Everybody knows that. It is Rwanda, with 63.8% of women in parliament. But it is in the context of the aftermath of the genocide in Rwanda and the total devastation of the country that women were allowed to take over. Some African countries are on the right track in this regard. 4 African countries are among the world's top countries in terms of women's representative in parliament, with a rate exceeding 40%. These are, in addition to Rwanda, Seychelles, Senegal, and South Africa. There is 12 African countries are among the 35 countries in the world that have exceeded the 30% rate in parliament. That was an engagement of the Declaration of Beijing in 1995, but it was all the countries that agrees, but there is no implementation. But overall, the average representation of women in parliament, which is 23% in sub-Saharan Africa, hardly exceeds the current world average of 22.7%. Only a dozen of parliamentary chambers in Africa are led by women. So it is very important to have to use the female leadership at national and regional level, because women are the half of the world and give birth to the other half. Women express their own needs and those of the whole family. It is important to remember that women and children represent a large proportion of the population. Their needs must be expressed and taken in account. Women have qualities and areas of expertise, a pragmatic spirit, and social intelligence, and a sense of organization, example of self-denial and self-sacrifice, and they are considered as less corrupted than men. Women and youth take a fresh look and embody change. It is essential to promote gender equality and parity, and to promote the rejuvenation of elites by limiting mandates, as it is in Swiss, I think, and to limiting mandates and prohibiting the holding of multiple offices. Also, participatory democracy is essential for involving men and women. For involving women and young people in decision making, because women and young people are a major component of our population, but they have a very limited access to political and economical power, but they have more easily access to association action to express their needs, their expectations, and their demands. The participatory approach is vital for young people and women because they are the real force of change. For conclusion, I can say that women need power, and Africa needs women. Women have a great need of power, economical, political, environmental power to implement peace, equality, parity, and social justice through inclusive development policies and sustainable development also, based on the human rights approach and the gender approach. In addition, Africa badly needs the commitment and sense of abnegation of women to be able to significantly influence the development curve and to be able to meet the needs of all its male and female population. It is true, it's women that Africa suffers most. When I say Africa, I can say the world, but I have accents on Africa, that Africa suffers most. So it is true, it's women that Africa can rebuild, develop, and strengthen itself. Equality and parity are excellent levers to fight inequalities and to promote peace, democracy, human right, and inclusive development. I am convinced that progress for women are progress for everybody, for peace, for development, and for democracy. And thank you very much for your listening.